guys, my name's Mark. We're going to do a quick tutorial today in Xcode 8 with Swift version 3, and we're going to do a Hello World application, and we're going to use code alone, so we're not going to use any storyboards today. So we're going to dive straight into this, and I'm going to call it Hello World with code. Get straight in. I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to go straight across into our view controller. So to start with, this is our view controller here. Hopefully you're pretty familiar with this by now. So Hello World, obviously pretty simple application. If you haven't already seen my previous video where we did Hello World using storyboards, please go back and watch that one first. You'll get a good idea of what it does. But essentially we're going to have a text input field, a button, and the label at the end. And all we want to do is take some text from the text input field, press the button, and then have it appear on the label. So first thing we want to do is create a button. So we're going to, sorry, not a button, we're going to create a text field. So let's make a variable, and that variable is going to be my text field, and that is a UI text field, and it's going to equal to a UI text field. There you go. Now after this we want to create a function, and we'll call the function setup text field, and add some curly brackets there, and that's going to contain the code for what we want to do in the text field function there. So that function we're going to call that when we want the text field to set up, which is when we load the view. So in view did load, we will set up the text field there. So this will happen, set up text field, when the view is loaded, which is when we're going to launch the app. So first thing we want to do is say my text field bounds equal cg rect, and that is going to be the x value we want 0, y 0, and we want it to be half the width of the screen. So view dot bounds dot width, I'm going to divide that by 2, and then our height is going to be 50 pixels high. After that we're going to set the position, so we're going to do that by my text field dot center, and that is going to be equal to cg point, and cg point we're going to have as similar, so it's view dot bounds dot width, and again divided by 2 because we're going to have that as half the width of the screen, and then our y value we're going to have it 100 pixels down from the top of the screen. Beneath this then we can set a background color. I'm going to make all of the boxes look the same, so we're going to have a background color for my text field, and that is background color, and that's going to be equal to UI color dot light gray. So after we've set up our background color, we're going to have a text color. So my text field dot text color, and that is going to be equal to a UI color, and that UI color is going to be a dark gray. So following this we want to put some radius on the corners, so my text field is going to be border style, and that is going to equal to UI text border style of a rounded rectangle. There we go. So following on from this, we're going to need some placeholder text. So the text box, while it's empty, we want it to have some lightened text in there asking us what to do basically. So we want to say my text field dot placeholder, and we want that to equal something like insert name here. Okay, so following from that we need to set up our fonts because we want all of the fonts to be the same. There's no guarantee that if you don't set them manually they might not be the same when you have your button and label and so on. So we're going to have my text field dot font, and this is going to equal UI font of system font, and that is going to be of size 17. following from this, we want to make sure the alignment is in the center. So I have myTextField dot text alignment, and that is going to equal dot center. Now when you do these, you can see that with the autocomplete it does come up and it will give you the options of other things that you can have. So we're just going to go center, keep it all looking nice and straightforward for us. You do have plenty of options to choose from should you want to. So following that, we're going to have my text field, and this is something that I always put onto my text fields, is clear button mode, because when you start typing something it's always nice to have a little cross there that you can delete it with. So you can say it's going to be a UITextField view mode, and that's going to be while editing. And then finally we've got myTextField dot delegate, and that is a self. So then the last thing we want to do is to actually we want to add the actual text field when the view comes up. So view dot add subview, and that's going to be my text field. Now it's coming up with an error here because we've said that this is going to be the delegate, and what we've not done is added the class in with the view controller at the top. So what we need to do here is UITextField delegate. There it is. Let autocomplete finish it off there, and hopefully that should disappear. There we go. Nice. So that's our text field set up. So following on from our text field, we're going to want a button. So let's add in our button. So we're going to start here with var button. No, that's not what I wanted. Go away. And our button is going to be a UI button. Get some space. So we're going to create a function the same as we did in the text field. So func setup button, and then let's add that to the viewDidLoad. There we go, setup button, and then we're going to go through the similar things as what we did with the text field. So we're just going to say button is equal to a UI button, and that is of type, and the UI button type is a system button. So following on from this one, we're going to create the size of the button. So again, same as above, button bounds is CG rect, and we're going to do exactly the same as what we did before. So 0, 0, and then we're going to have view.bounds.width, and that is going to be divided by 2 because we want it to be half the width of the screen. And then our height is going to be 50 pixels again, and then after this we're going to have button center to position the button. Now we're deciding where to put it, so this is going to be a CG point value, and the CG point value is going to be the same as we did above. So view.bounds.width, only this time instead of being 100 pixels we're going to be 200 pixels from the top of the screen. So it's going to be spaced out nicely, but it should be the same size and there in the middle of the screen for us. So the next one we're going to do is set up the background color. So button background color, and our background color is going to be a UI color, and the UI color is going to be light grey. So then after this we will set up our font color. So let's go button dot, this is done slightly differently, so it's called set title color, and our title color is going to be a UI color of dark grey, and that is going to be for UI control state dot normal. So slightly different to how we've done it on the previous one. And now we're going to make the rounded corners as we did before. So we're going to say button dot layer dot corner radius, is going to be equal to 5. So slightly different again as what we've done before. We don't just say rounded rect, it's corner radius specific now. So then we're going to set the font to the same as previous. So now we're going to say button dot title label, and our title label, which we have got of font, is equal to UI font dot system font of size 17. And then following this, we just need to make the button do something. So we're going to create something for the button to do. So when the button is pressed, we want to add target, and the target is self, and the action, so let's say selector view controller, and that's going to be button pressed. We haven't created this yet, so don't be surprised by anything you see here. It's going to look a bit funny for the minute. And for UI troll events, touch down it's not touch down, it's touch up inside. It's better. And then finally we're going to add the button, so view dot add sub view, and that is going to be the button. So now we've added the button, we're going to add our little section of code of where the button does it. So this is where it's going to be button pressed. Okay, so our button pressed, we're going to want to have our sender, which is any object. Okay, and then inside this code here, we're going to have an if statement, because well, I'll tell you what, we want to make the label.text equal hello, and then we're going to have a backslash, and then in here we're going to say my text field dot text. So here we're having label dot text is equal to hello, and then whatever it says in my text field. I put an exclamation mark there because we know something's going to be in that text field because we're going to put it there. But if we weren't going to do that and someone may happen to just press the button with the text field empty, it will cause a crash. So we're going to put an if statement in saying if my text field dot text is not equal to nil, then carry out this following code. Okay, let's have a look and see what's going on with this here on the view controller. Yes, I did mean view controller. There we go. Okay, what now? Has no member button pressed. It does, it's here. I haven't put func. There we go. Simple things, eh? Clean that. Okay, they look happy. So let's continue on to where we were. So now finally we've just got to put in the label. So let's do that just beneath our button pressed. So we say let's label, and the UI label is equal to UI label, and we're going to want a function again, same as previously, and that is setup label. Let's have some action, and we'll pop again in here setup label in view did load. So let's start at the top again, same as what we had before. Label dot bounds, and our label bounds are CG rect, and again 0, 0, and our width is view bounds width divided by 2, and our height is 50. So following this, label dot center is CG point, and our CG point is going to be view dot bounds dot width divided by 2, and our float is 300 because we want it to match previously, so it's going to be 100 pixels below the button. Then we're going to have a background color, label dot layer dot background color, which is equal to UI color, and that is a light grey. But now we want to go CG color. That's how they like us to do it with labels. So next we'll go label dot text color, and that's going to be equal to a UI color of dark grey. Following this, we're going to have the corner radius. So label dot layer dot corner radius is equal to 5, and then we should have some text. So if you want to put text in your label, you'll do it like this. So label dot text is equal to text here, but we don't want that because as we're just going to keep empty, so I'm just going to leave that line there just as a couple of marks. So then we'll have the font size, so label dot font, we can equal that to UI font of system font, and that is size 17, so same as the others. And again, label text alignment, and we want the alignment to equal the center as we have done with the others. And finally, we need to add it to the view. So view, add subview, and we want the subview to be our label. There we go. So now, with a bit of luck, we should be able to run this line or run this code. And I don't want it to come up on my iPad. That's very bad. Here we go. So we've got a bit of a problem here. Our button, for some reason, has decided it wants to be off to the side of the screen. So let's see what we've done. So setup button. This is our position. So we've got width, view, bounds width divided by 2, height 50, and that's the size. So here's the view bounds width, and I haven't divided it by 2. So divided by 2, and that will pop it in the center of the screen as opposed to on the edge of the screen. So we'll run that again, and now hopefully my button should be in the correct place. And let's see where these buttons turn up. So here we go. So insert name here. So let's say YouTube. I'm going to press the button, and it says hello YouTube. Fantastic. Pretty much there. The only thing we don't have is that if I was to click away from that text field, you want the keyboard to disappear, or if you press return, you want the keyboard to disappear. And we've got the clear button as we described earlier. So let's add some keyboard behavior to this as well and get rid of this keyboard. Maybe even put something in this button here. So So we've got a title in the button, so let's do that. So somewhere in here, pop it blue. So let's say button dot set title, and we can have that, and we'll just say press me, and that's going to be for a UI control state of normal. There we go. So now our button's going to say press me, which is going to be a little bit better. Let's pop down to the bottom, and we'll just say just above this final curly brackets, we're going to put in some extra code here, and this is going to be for our keyboard behavior. So we're going to start by adding a function, which is an override function, and we'll call it touches began. There it is. So our touches began so the code for touches began, we just want to say self dot view dot end editing, and we want that to be true. So then beneath this one, we're going to have another function, and that is going to be a function of text field should return. There it is, text field, and that's going to allow us to add some code here. And the code for this one, we want to say text field dot design first responder, and to return true. So let's run this again. Simulator is going to appear. Hopefully we're going to have some text in our button, and also we're going to have some behavior from the keyboard. So let's say on here we want to say hello YouTube, press me, hello YouTube, and if I click away, our keyboard disappears. If I click back in the box and press return, our keyboard disappears once again. So that is how to do Hello World purely with programs or programming and code alone, and you now know how to set up text fields, buttons and labels all without going into the storyboard at all. So if I click into my storyboard, you'll see that our storyboard is looking very bare, but we do have some functioning text fields, buttons and labels. Thank you for watching and stay until the end. Hopefully you got something out of it and watch some more videos in the future. See you soon.